I just can't help but laugh at this.
Will surely disappoint you?
Of course.
So Ryan Noble's reporting on X. Representative AOC tells us she spoke with President Biden over the weekend and it's time to end the speculation over his future. Quote, Joe Biden is our nominee. He is not leaving this race. He is in this race and I support him.
Know how to govern this party. This is what progressives should be saying at the top of their lungs. We told you not about Biden, not to just rub it in. No, guys, strategically. We told you when they picked the establishment leader in 2016, Hillary Clinton, and they pretended they knew what they were doing, that they didn't know anything. And they lost to a buffoon named Donald Trump.
I have spoken with him extensively. He made clear then, and he has made clear since, that he is in this race. The matter is closed. He had reiterated that this morning. He has reiterated that to the public. Joe Biden is our nominee. He is not leaving this race. He is in this race, and I support him. Now, what I think is critically important right now is that we focus on what it takes to win in November, because he is running against Donald Trump, who is a man with 34 felony convictions that has committed 34 felony crimes.
So AOC has betrayed Ana and Cenk. Didn't she betray you guys after she got elected? Didn't she betray you guys after Pelosi put her in her place? Didn't she betray you guys she betrays you guys every day. I mean, she's a faux progressive according to you guys, and you guys attack her all the time. So therefore, you should not be surprised that she is standing with Joe Biden or Jamal Bowman. Now, guys, this right here is going to be a little bit wonky. It's going to be a little bit out of order as far as exactly how this segment went. But trust me, by the way, before the end of this, you guys will obviously understand why Cenk and Ana are fuming at progressives or faux progressives who are supporting the current administration, the current Democratic Party nominee, even though you guys would have seen in the 4 o'clock video that Biden is suffering from a little thing that, quite frankly, has pretty much all but been diagnosed. And of course, the Democrats are trying to remove him. And of course, I also explained in the previous video that they will not be able to remove him, and therefore they are in fact stuck with him. Now, there's 2 videos I made last week where Cenk had mini meltdowns or big meltdowns, whatever you might would say about the fact that Joe Biden's debate performance was absolutely horrible. But if I recall correctly, Cenk is the same person who claims to be this uber progressive. And of course, he claims to also not only be an uber progressive, but he also claims to not like the Democratic Party and calls them losers all the time, even though it's normally the progressives that always lose, the loons that they put up to actually run against Democrats that always lose, because people won't vote for the looniness that Cenk and Ana normally throw out there. Of course, Ana has gotten better on issues recently, and Cenk, of course, is still very, very much, let's just say his head has always been up his ass. But still, at the same time, though, I'm pretty sure you guys know where I'm going with this, and quite frankly, should not be surprised that Cenk, of course, is upset about this. So, what happened? Well, as you guys obviously saw at the very beginning, AOC, she got asked about supporting the current administration. Cori Bush, also a squad member, also got asked about Biden, of course. And, of course, she said the exact same thing, basically. Of course, she worded it in a way that was just totally insane. But still, she basically still decided to support the current administration, current nominee. And, of course, to go on top of this, Hakeem Jeffries also did so as well.
He has now come out with a statement, and he's sharing what he thinks about Biden remaining in the race. Let's watch.
You support Joe Biden staying as your Democratic nominee?
Yes, I made clear the day after the debate publicly that I support President Joe Biden and the Democratic ticket. My position has not changed.
This guy is the cheapest Wish.com version of Barack Obama I think has ever existed. And I think that them trying to put him on the ballot will only just look like a cheap imitation. He probably won't even garner that many votes. I mean, I actually think he would probably be the weakest person that they could put out there to replace Biden, even though it's been suggested. And I think he would get destroyed in probably a bigger landslide than what Joe will get destroyed in, or what Gavin Newsom would, or any other nominee they want to throw out there. By the way, I'm showing you guys some stuff here showing you Trump's numbers against other nominees. Just pause the video and take a look at this, and you'll see that Trump is actually beating them like I said he would. But the fact of the matter is that obviously TYT, they are upset about the fact that these people are obviously still standing with the current administration. By the way, Cenk and Ana don't want to admit this now, but trust me, they will still vote for Biden. But let's go ahead and dive into this story.
There's more. There's more. Now, what I think is critically important right now is that we focus on what it takes to win in November because he is running against Donald Trump.
Everybody would be running against Donald Trump. They make it seem like Joe Biden is the only one who gets to run against Donald Trump. You know, a Democrat, a generic Democrat that will start with 10 points higher lead is also running against Trump, except would be 10 points higher.
And as I explained, the previous segment showed you guys in the B-roll footage, and I'm showing you guys in the B-roll footage once again that this is obviously not the case. Once again, Cenk is gaslighting and lying to his audience that no other nominee is 10 points ahead of Donald Trump, with the exception of maybe Michelle Obama. And I believe that that poll is obviously a bunch of crap. I've already explained how it is that she would still lose an election against the former president. I've done a video on that one. I'll probably come back and rehash it once again once we get closer to the nomination. But the fact of the matter is this right here. If you are to replace Joe Biden, you would only be able to replace him with one person, and that way there would be Kamala Harris. It's the only way to ensure the campaign donations stay with the Biden campaign. They might try to pull something with Gavin Newsom, but still at the same time, it's not like he's going to be getting the campaign donations, and he's got to organically build his presidential campaign. And by the way, nobody wants California policies, but let's continue.
So look, progressives are sticking with Biden more than establishment Democrats are. It doesn't matter, you'll get blamed anyway at the end of the election.
But why? Why are they doing it?
Because I think that they don't know strategy at all. They're just flummoxed by strategy. If you tell AOC strategies, you'll be like, oh, how dare you, okay? So I look, she doesn't, first of all, she should have never given him the endorsement in the first place. She should have used it as leverage to get something, anything. How about something as simple as paid family leave that polls at 84%? At least have him pressure Schumer to introduce it in the Senate. These are layups, but they hate using their leverage. And I'm sorry, I love Bernie, but it starts with Bernie. He never ever uses his leverage, right? Instead, they'll go, oh, here, have it, have it, have it. And then what happens? You think that helps? The minute they get a chance, they're gonna bury you anyway. If you're not sure, call Jamal Bowman and see how it turned out for him. So this is a terrible strategy.
I'm sorry, I gotta laugh at this. This is just insanity. Jamal Bowman got removed in his primary because Jamal Bowman just overtly played the race card. Yeah, Jamal Bowman, squad member, he lost to a guy by the name of George Latimer, who, for all we know, is just as progressive, if not more progressive than Jamal Bowman, but obviously he was a little bit more pro a certain nation. We can't say here on the platform. I'm not saying it because I'm anti that. I'm just simply saying that Jamal Bowman and the squad being overtly anti-Israel obviously got some campaign donations in it, but still, I hear a lot of people say that AIPAC is what the hell costed Jamal Bowman his election or his seat. I don't agree with that because Jamal Bowman's approval rating in his own district was actually pretty low, and he was already losing to Latimer anyway, so if anything, it was just a cherry on top. Look, the point is this right here. Nobody wants to vote for these loons. Nobody wants to vote for these crazy people. And if they do vote for them and put them in office, they see that the only thing these people do is just create division, create chaos, and just play the race card. But once again, though, we're sitting here subjected to one of Cenk's hilarious rants, and let's just keep it going.
Election year has ever won, ever in American history. So even if it was like, oh my God, we got Andy Beshear and he's like, maybe we don't agree with all of his policies, but my God, he's won as a Democrat twice in Kentucky. And he's got these super popular things. Even he would struggle to make up this kind of a deficit. Okay, even the most dynamic, greatest Democrat or any politician would struggle to make up this kind of deficit. But Biden's he's gonna stabilize, then make up 16 points in approval. He was at 52 when he barely won. He's at 36 now. Do you understand politics at all? And I'm sorry, but progressives in Congress demonstrate every single day that they do not understand politics.
That is correct. I totally agree with you.
Nate, plastic is a joke. I just figured I'd go ahead and say that this is the same guy who said Hillary Clinton was winning the 2016 election by like 10 points. Lost. Just simply saying that nobody has trusted Nate Silver since 2016. I mean, look, if you're not trusted, and by the way, Nate Silver's polling data, he still finds a way to exclude certain polls. And let me go and give you an example of what I mean. if you really and truly want the best metric of how to predict the election or how it's going to end up being, I would advise you guys go to Real Clear Politics Average, go to them, and I would also suggest you guys go to somewhere like Decision Desk. Nate Silver, Nate Plastic, 538, those organizations are an absolute joke. And even they have Trump right now winning the election. It's much, much closer. But time and time again, you'll see that Decision Desk and you'll see that Real Clear Politics are always way more accurate. And also something else to go on top of that, the commentary is typically a lot more spot on as well. But once again, we have Cenk Uygur subjecting us to a bunch of BS and a bunch of crap and a lot of lies and all that type of stuff there. But still at the same time, like I've always said with Cenk, it's always hilarious to watch. I mean, do I got to remind people that this is the same guy who got upset because the plane would not take off? The plane was broken. The plane was jacked up. The plane needed to be fixed. And Cenk's over here screaming and hollering and raising hell about not being able to board it. The guy wanted to board a broken plane. I mean, just let that sink in and let you guys know exactly how insane this guy is. But let's continue.
Don't understand how anyone can just ignore what the data is telling us about Biden's chances of beating Donald Trump. It's like they're just ignoring all of that.
No, anyone. This is a stone cold fact. Look, Nate Silver's screaming this at the top of his lungs, just like I am, because we understand numbers. We've been in politics for 25 to 30 years. No, get this through your heads. No incumbent in the 40s is likely to win an election. They are very, very unlikely if they're in the 40s. No incumbent.
Now, here's where Cenk's logic is flawed. All right. Now, obviously, you guys who watch my content know exactly who I'm voting for. You guys know where I'm at. But I want to say this because I want to bring up some historical precedent. Joe Biden's 36% approval rating is not the actual average. It's but still at the same time, it's still pretty low. And I don't think any presidents actually won that. But still, I recall that Ronald Reagan, obviously I wasn't alive when this happened, but it is a historical fact. Right before the jobs numbers began to fully improve in 1983 and 1984, Ronald Reagan's approval rating was below 40%. Of course, things happened, and Reagan's approval rating eventually improved, and Reagan got reelected in a massive landslide because he was facing a weak candidate. Now, Biden is not in the same situation here. Trump is a much, much stronger candidate. As a matter of fact, like you guys saw in the B-roll footage, Trump is actually handily beating everybody they throw out there. I mean, it's a very, very, it's basically what I said before. This guy's got momentum. He's beating whoever the hell you would throw at him. But still, the point is this right here. Even if you put someone like, say, Andy Beshear out there, progressives would not vote for him. Andy Beshear claimed to be a progressive, but of course he's not governed as one. He's the governor of Kentucky. Kentucky's got like an 80% conservative legislative body. I still have no idea how the hell Andy Beshear got elected, especially in a state as red as that. But still, at the same time, it's not like this guy would actually get elected. I think that what's really going on, and Cenk doesn't want to accept this, is that people are rejecting not only Biden and the current Democratic Party, they're also rejecting progressives as well. It's going to be a very fun thing to see over the next 10 years. But one more thing that I think that people have finally kind of sort of looked at the situation, of course, this recent situation with Biden has opened a lot of people's eyes, is the fact that the mainstream media itself is extremely complicit. And while TYT claims to be not like the mainstream media, in a lot of ways, they kind of are. But let's continue.
So it seems like, for the most part, the Democratic Party is listening to Biden. I mean, he put out this letter.
Totally pathetic.
He put out this letter basically telling elected lawmakers who are telling him to step down that they need to shut up and fall in line.
And they are, because they're cowards. Let's call a spade, okay? Let's call it what they are. Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer, total cowards. Like, oh, what does the leader say?
Biden is telling them to shut up, or he's basically telling them to get in line because obviously you need to unify your party. Look, I'm no fan of Joe Biden. I'm not voting for Joe Biden. I'm voting for his opponent. You guys know that. But I can kind of empathize with him as far as being a leader of a party that has currently lost faith in him, which is really kind of strange, too, because they knew this about Joe Biden. I think what happened is that they saw that the mainstream media, if they did put a muzzle on Donald Trump, they thought that they put a muzzle on it would actually hurt him. But as I've said before in previous videos, that when they put the muzzle on Trump and basically created these rules that were obviously designed to help Biden, it would actually help Trump out a lot more because Trump has a tendency to talk a lot and talk over people. Well, now that he was muzzled and kept in check, you would see that he would stay on message. I think that right there is the real true story of the debate that people oftentimes just wanted to gloss over. But still leave it to leftists to not seem to understand that the debate rules, not only the debate rules, but the provisions that they put in place to give them the advantage oftentimes have a tendency to work against them because it kind of sort of keeps you within that box, and therefore you can't go outside of it, and therefore you've not properly weaned yourself and gotten strong on it. It's one of the main reasons why it is that the debates right now at this moment in time don't really work. If you actually watch them, you more than likely will come away thinking to yourself, well, the only reason why the leftists even wanted to debate against the conservative was because all they did was talk over. That's kind of what they do. If the rules are kind of already in their favor, that's the only way they can win. But once you actually take away the advantages, you find out that these people really aren't crap. They're actually below that, but let's continue.
36%, you don't mind losing to Trump. Every person right now that's saying Biden should be the nominee is saying, I don't care about losing to Trump at all. Look, Biden said another lie in one of these interviews. He said, oh, people doubted me in 2020. That's not remotely true. Okay, right, and oh, I was losing in 2020. No, you weren't. And so even CNN did an analysis of it and showed it, because it's not complicated. Anybody could look it up. That's what I've been screaming for a year now. You could look up any of these numbers. So at this point in the race in 2020, at this exact time, Biden was up by 9 points. And he barely won with 44,000 votes in 3 swing states.
Yes, Cenk, he was up by 9 points, and now he's losing. Thank you.
3-6. Do you understand that's impossible? No, you don't. That's the thing. If you're an average layman, I don't blame you at all. How are you supposed to know what's impossible in politics? It's like saying, oh, can you unclog that toilet? How do you know? You're not a plumber, right?
I mean, I can figure it out.
Okay, but everyone who knows politics, Ezra Klein, David Axelrod, James Carville, Nate Silver, myself, look, we don't agree on policy, but we all agree on numbers. So everyone that's now saying it should be Biden is saying, I would rather bow my head and obey a mad king than beat Donald Trump. I don't care about that at all. I've been lying the whole time. I don't think democracy is on the line. I think this is a totally unimportant election. We're gonna run an 81-year-old whose brain fell out in the middle of a debate. 80% of the country thinks he's not mentally healthy enough to be president. I mean, what kind of a moron?
Well, to be exact, it was actually 72%. It was a CNN ORC poll, which, by the way, is always subject to problems because they typically tend to not be accurate. But of course, these liberals and leftists and Democrats will still vote for the guy anyways because Orange Man bad. That's the real truth. By the way, when Cenk's talking about numbers, these people are the orators of false numbers all the time. I mean, what was it? Back in 2017, Bernie Sanders had a debate with Ted Cruz, and it was basically revealed that the plan that Bernie Sanders had for healthcare, even if you drained all the money from all the billionaires and the millionaires in the country, it still would only cover nothing more than just good old-fashioned nose jobs. That's all you would get. I mean, these people aren't exactly, how do I call it, the orators of actual math and numbers. But then again, at the same time, though, I mean, these people obviously exist for a reason. They sit down, they watch too much television, they watch too many movies, all that type of crap there. Of course, I guess it's just what helps create the fantastical society that these people claim they want to live in and they want to create. But anytime they try to create that fantastical society, it always falls apart. You got to ask yourself a question: why the hell does socialism always fail? I mean, it's like that. I mean, what is it? It's like the love that never dies. You know, it's just the bad idea that never goes away. Just figure out to point that out. However, like I said, the point of this video was really just to kind of react to Cenk's hilarity, his stupidity, his facial expressions, and some of the crazy stuff that he says. But of course, like I said before, it kind of comes back to these people saying to themselves, look, you know, AOC, she lied to us, she stabbed us in the back. No. AOC has been stabbed you guys in the back for a long time. AOC is partly responsible for you guys because of you guys. She went on your show, you gave her airtime, and guess what happened? She got famous as a result of you guys, and now she's a politician, and quite frankly, she doesn't need your fat ass anymore. But let's keep watching.
Hug Joe Biden, you go, oh, I'm with the liar. And then your main point in this election is that Donald Trump is the liar, which was a terrific point until you started doing this spectacular, gigantic lie in the middle of the campaign. And now 80% of Americans don't believe a goddamn word you say.
Yeah, that's also part of this conversation that I don't think is emphasized enough. The way voters feel about being lied to, about Biden's mental state, about his ability to run and beat Donald Trump. The thing that keeps coming up is how betrayed voters feel, and to have honestly, a progressive of all people come in and run interference for Biden is so.
Last thing on this. So I'm still absolutely positive that Biden's gonna drop out. You know why? The Republicans are smart. They ran one ad against Bob Casey saying, is Bob Casey lying to cover up Joe Biden's dementia? And they showed clips of Joe Biden and then clips of Casey with Joe Biden. That ad was so devastating. That ad alone almost knocked Biden out. Then they stopped the ads immediately. They're like, oh, shh. Look, be cool, be cool. If Joe Biden is the actual nominee and he gets past the convention, they're gonna obliterate the Democratic Party with those ads.
Yes, and it will be glorious. And I will explain this after this last part, because let me tell you what's really about to happen here.
See, and Hakeem Jeffries are not stupid. They're just cowards. And they just bow their heads to leadership. And they don't care about this country. They don't care about losing to Donald Trump.
I mean, Hakeem Jeffries is leadership. He's Democratic leadership.
Of course he's going to tell you to bow to leadership. Exactly, Anna, he is leadership.
It's just,
he's like,
so
oh, you should always bow to leadership, no matter how bad a decision they make, no matter how much they're idiots, and no matter how much they don't mind losing. So.
Okay, now that we got Cenk and Anna's craziness out of the way, I need to go ahead and tell you what's about to happen. What Cenk was saying about Republicans obliterating the Democrats is true. You guys remember back in March of this year, I think it was Trump, it was announced that Trump's Truth Social had gone public. And of course, that also the article, which came from Market Watch and a few others, stated that there was roughly $4 to $6 billion that was going to be in Donald Trump's bank account that he could access in the month of August. Yeah, he'll access this in the month of August. And of course, I'm not saying he'll take $6 billion. There's probably something like 3 in reality, but I'm pretty sure he's going to take a third of that cash, and he's probably going to dump it to his presidential campaign, which has got a lot of people wondering why it is Trump is not launching any ads in these battleground states. Well, he kind of doesn't have to. The ad blitz normally doesn't start till sometime right around August or September, and this is when people normally get tired of the ads being posted. So I think what's going to happen is that Trump is probably going to put out more higher produced ads. By the way, Trump is also getting a lot more money from not just small donors, but big time donors as well. Meanwhile, Biden is losing donors. Some of those donors include the Disney heiress, who is saying she won't support Biden or she won't donate any money to him until they replace him, or any money to the Democratic Party to replace him. Not to mention the Democrats right now are on the hook for the great big giant lie, which is Joe Biden's health situation and how bad he is or how bad off he is. And now people feel like they've been lied to. Now look, Democrat voters and far left voters are still going to vote for Joe Biden this cycle. Well, maybe not far left voters because they feel betrayed over the Palestine issue. And the fact is that Biden has not been progressive enough in their eyes. But the point is this right here. A lot of people in the middle and people who are trying to make up their mind, the people that you would need to get over, they look like they're staying home. And they also are moving towards Trump. Basically what's going to happen is that Trump is going to blanket the airwaves with ads here in the next couple of months. So go ahead and get ready for that. That's basically going to make Joe Biden completely irrelevant. And given the fact that Biden does not have that much money or anything to run on, and the fact that Democrats, as I explained in the previous video, are stuck with Biden, yeah, it seems to me like we're looking at potential landslide territory, and I mean possibly in the worst kind of way, but we'll see what happens. You guys tell me what you think. I'd love to hear what you guys have got to say. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe. Please share the video. Please sign off in the comment section, and I'll see you guys later.